Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to another episode 101, Late to the Party, where we review movies that are at least 10 years old or older. It's been a long night for us here. We are just chugging along with this content. Everything you see throughout the week will have been made today. So this is the tail end of our adventure together. Home Alone is a 1990 movie starring Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, Kieran Culkin, Catherine O'Hara, John Hurd. 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb, 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, 63% on TV Guide.
There's a new one, TV Guide.
I was about to say, TV Guide's still around?
He couldn't remember. He didn't know what Redbox was, but he knows what TV Guide is. So switch it up.
All right, little kid. He's got a huge family, and then he's got his cousins over. So they got a huge family on top of a huge family. They're all leaving to go to France or some bougie place for the holidays. France, but it could have been any bougie place, right? For the holiday, because that's what you do on Christmas, right? You go to Europe.
Duh.
Right? And you leave your gigantic mansion house that's already fully decorated for a holiday you're not going to be home for.
It's nice to be rich.
The house upstairs is fully decorated already.
Yeah, but we're here.
Yeah, but still, they decorated really early.
No, I always thought that was funny
the
too.
HOA.
About them going to Europe. I thought that was weird.
I mean, that's rich people problems, right?
Well,
Like,
France back in 1990 was probably a nice spot to visit, so.
That was before we had to have the freedom fries.
So much has happened since 1990. I mean, I wouldn't travel to Europe these days. Hell no.
Nope.
All right. The movie.
I want to go to India.
I've seen it. I've seen this movie countless times. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen this movie countless times. This time sitting through it, it felt, maybe it's because I've been absorbing all this content lately, and I watched it in the time where I had time to do it, but didn't really care to watch that movie in particular. It kind of dragged for me, you know. It's like, oh, when are you gonna set the booby traps, dude? Like, fuck, I don't want to see you get toothpaste. It took a long time to get to the points, and you know, my fondness of this movie is running on sheer nostalgia. I even tried to get Juliet to sit down and watch it with me, and by the time I messed up, because I got her to sit down and watch it with me from the beginning, and she's 4. So by the time the movie would have been an entertaining thing to her, she was like, "Why are you making me sit down?" She was like, I was fighting with her to get her to try. Like, you're gonna love this movie. My wife's like, she's 4. She's not even gonna remember. I was like, I'll make her remember. Raw. And it was a brutal, horrible experience watching Home Alone in the Kochasak household this last time. The booby traps, they lost everything for me, and it didn't hold up for me this time, which is sad because I've seen it a lot of times, and this is probably the worst viewing of it that I've had. Tell me somebody else had a better experience.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, oh yeah. Go ahead, Comic Lizard.
I watched, because we're watching it to review it, I was watching it more with like a little bit of a critical eye. Plus, I've watched the movies that made us, that Netflix show, the holiday one that they did for it. So they do all the Christmas movie ones, and this is one of the ones that they picked. So getting a little insight here and there on a few things. But in this particular one, also people like it inevitably at Christmas time, this always pops up in like the feeds. How come the McCallister house is so fucking big? What does the dad do for a living? How's he affording everybody to go to France? Like, how come they've got a dog door? And it's like, they answer all of those questions if you actually watch the movie and stop being dumb. So the dog door, the mom is on the phone and says, oh yeah, we took the dog to the kennel. So you know why there's no dog there and why they have a dog door. The dad obviously does something good for a living, but we're not sure entirely what, but he's got enough to provide. And the trip going to France to Paris is paid for by his brother because they've been watching their kids for the last 6 months in their house. So it was just one of those situations. But I love this movie. And we figured out when the booby trap stuff, he has his conversation. He knows that the guys are going to come at 9. He has this conversation with the guy in the church, the old like creepy serial killer neighbor guy in the church. And the bells
misunderstood old man.
Okay. So the bells ring at 8 o'clock in the church, so he's got a whole hour
to run home
all of that booby traps
from the church
and cook himself a microwavable dinner that he doesn't actually get to finish. So you know it takes him a whole hour to set it up. But like this is just it's a fun kids kind of family feel good movie, and I love John Candy's cameo in this. This is so good. You know, I love this movie, and I'll watch it every year.
I'm kind of with you, Nate, and I think it wasn't that I had the kind of real life drama that you had while you were trying to watch the movie. We were able to sit down and watch it pretty free. But I think because I was applying a critical eye to it to really examine the movie instead of just taking it in as pure entertainment, it actually made me look at it a little bit less positively than in the past. And it's not because there are any inconsistencies with the film, but when you try to break down the positives and negatives about the film, you look at it differently. You know, the whole reason that we remember Home Alone, at least for me, is because of the booby trap scene. And that really is a very small portion of the movie. My memory before this viewing was that was a substantial portion of the film. But really, it's just the highlight, and it's what you remember the most. And so I was surprised at how quickly that portion of the movie went by. I was like, wow, that's it. It's over. And so, I mean, I still enjoy the film. And like Liz said, we were like talking through the timeline of the day of the booby traps and like how Kevin's day broke down and everything. And, how much time that poor bastard had to get everything set up. I mean, at least he had his battle plan already drawn out. But yeah, but on the flip side, at least for a Christmas film, they actually spend some time in the church. There's actually hymns that are being sung about Jesus. It actually is a Christmas movie. It's not just annual family holiday gift-giving ceremony that nobody wants to talk about. It actually has those kinds of things. And I saw, just to wrap it up, I saw afterward that there's a lot of online speculation about whether Kevin gets saved in the movie because of his time in church and interaction with his neighbor. So
that's cool.
That's a good tip.
That making it a Christmas movie might even make Die Hard be a Christmas movie too, because of the amount of times that John McClane says Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
he might not go to a church, but
not in a positive way.
The season of miracles.
Yes, I mean that's also definitely a Christmas movie, but yeah.
All right, Fuzzy.
All right, well, hey, I'm with you, Liz. This is a classic. So you guys got to remember, Chris Columbus, you know what I mean? Like, it's written by John Hughes, which is one of the greatest writers. You got Chris Columbus, who fucking helped write it, just little bits of it, but he directed it, and he's classic, you know, filmmaker. This was them in their prime, like, you know what I mean? Like, this was like, you know, taking something and just going with it. And it is a wholesome, you know, good movie, you know what I mean? And I think the parts that lag for people, I understand it, I get it, but I love it because it's through the eyes of a kid, you know, like this kid, you're literally living through him. So like, you know, when he has to crawl up there to get Buzz's money, you know what I mean, it breaks the thing, and the whole setup of the spider getting out, you know what I mean, and then, you know, it ends up paying off in the end, you know, like there's all, it's done by two masterful people that know what they're doing, and it plays well in this movie, you know, like you watch it and you're just laughing because you're like, this is the closest thing we're going to get to a Looney Tunes live action, you know, when the booby traps come and stuff. And even down to like when he accidentally steals the toothbrush, you know, and he's running, he's sliding through, you know what I mean? Like it's a live action Looney Tunes cartoon. Like, you know, it's awesome, but it's a Christmas story, and it's got like you were saying, you know, the wholesome meaning behind it. And I like that theory that, you know, he did say his prayers and he did do a good deed. Because I'm a big believer in karma and doing, you know, what you do put out there, you put on. The kid didn't know it, but he helped this, you know, old man that everyone's scared of, you know, just by giving him a couple words and talking to him and stuff. So I'd go with that theory, dude. I like that theory. Like, that's a good idea. Like, because it's, you know, and then even down to like, you think he's going to get away and then it gets caught. You know what I mean? As he's going up to the neighbor's house with all the water coming down from the sticky bandits, and then freaking, or not, no, that's the part two.
Wet bandits.
The wet bandits. I always get them mixed up, dude. And he goes up there, you know, and they have the confrontation, and it pays off because the old man shows up. You know what I mean? Like it is a beautiful movie. Like I love this movie. I could watch it all the time. I still love it when he touches his cheeks and like that and shit. Like, I love this movie.
Well, you know what's good about this movie too is that even though the bandits are Marvin, who's the other guy? It's Marvin.
Yeah, what is the name of the other guy?
Can't remember them. But anyway, the wet bandit.
Huh?
Joe Pesci.
Harry.
Harry, that's right, Harry and Marv. That even though they're the bad guys, you're like, oh, they're the bad guys in the you know, in this movie. Even though there's comedic stuff that they say or do or whatever, they're actually bad guys.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about, you know, even though they're like thieves and stuff like that.
They're gonna go kill the kid.
And when he gets caught, he's like, I'm gonna like hit you with the blowtorch and I'm gonna bite off your fingers one at a time is the first thing that I'm gonna do. And it doesn't look, it's one of those things where you might play it off and, oh, well, they're just trying to scare him. They hooked him up onto a door. They're grabbing his hands. Joe Pesci looked like he was going to go and bite his, you know what I mean? Because they're so, it's not that, like I said, they're bad guys, and even though they have comedic moments, they're still bad guys. And they. I like
that thing in the movie that made us that you were talking about when they were saying that Pesci wanted to cuss, like he kept trying to say motherfucker, so he ended up just.
They gave him a whole new language.
Yeah, and that's my favorite shit. Like that's my favorite. Motherfucker, like I love that, dude. Like it's awesome. Like. It's funny, like, because again, you don't have to hear him say fuck, but you know that's what he's saying, motherfucker, exactly. I'm gonna kill you, dude. Like, you know. Yeah,
exactly. Like, it was just that was one of the things that I liked about that. And the other thing too is that, you know, if that spider didn't get out of that cage, he would have been toast before he left his own house. So he was saved by a spider.
And Daniel Stern's laugh is fucking, our scream is priceless, dude. When he's screaming, dude, oh my God, that kills me every time, dude. And like the whole idea, like I didn't think about it until I watched the movies that made us think, but about like the falls. Like when they would eat it, they ate it hard. Like they were in the interview with Columbus, he's just like, we weren't laughing in those scenes. We were looking away, kind of. Like he's like, we couldn't watch it. It was like it looked like it hurt so bad.
Because the stunt double's like, okay, one more time. Just let me do it one more time. I can do it better. They're like, oh my God, are you still alive? Because like the way he would like fall and stuff, you would like looked like he broke his neck a few times.
Oh yeah, like even the even taking that iron there, you're like, dude, really? They fucking really dropped an iron on the guy? I was like, yeah, I was hoping it would have been like a rubber one or something like that, but damn.
Yeah, it was a great movie, and the plot held up, twice, because the second one came out and it was like they replaced the scary old guy with the scary bird lady, and just changed the scene, changed the change it.
Kept it in country.
Yeah, change it from the house to the strange house and family member's house or whatever. So no, it was like I said, I felt like I was watching it during the time when they were all getting ready to leave, when they woke up late. It's like hustle and bustle, and then I'm trying to get Juliet to watch it, and big kids and we're all sick, and it's just like, look, he fell. Man, I don't want to watch. Oh man. It was brutal, but I don't blame that on the movie. It's still a holiday classic for me.
And the music in this was fantastic too. When you get John Williams to come in and do the music for that, like you have you've got Columbus, you've got John Williams and Adam Hughes. Adam Hughes. Oh my God, I'm really bad tonight. I've got Nate syndrome.
Yeah.
John Hughes.
Adam Hughes. Nate syndrome.
It's one of those movies where it ticks all the boxes. It does, and it goes a little bit beyond. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. Like it just gives you a little bit of that warmness. Like Fuzzy always feels warm after watching that movie. I just want to hug my kid. I'm like, I love me some, the Home Alone goodness.
Me too. I'll watch it all the time. I was worried because last week when we said that we were going to watch Home Alone, you're like, oh.
Well, because it's a movie that, like, again, like Nate said, we've all seen it a million times. Like, it's not Die Hard to me or like Lethal Weapon where it's on, I sit down and I watch it. Like, if it's on, I go, okay, I'll watch this. Like, it's cute and stuff. But like, we sat down to watch it, and when I sat down, I tried to pretend it was like my first time watching it, and I teared up, and like the whole nine, and because that's as tough as like again, you're going through the kid's eyes, so as tough as he thinks he is in the beginning of the movie, that I wish you guys would leave, like that at the end of the movie he walks out, he's got the face, but then he sees his mom and he goes and he fucking hugs her, what I mean, like it's he grew up in that, knowing that his mom is his mom, and he missed her, and beautiful movie. It is. It's a well done movie.
An 8-year-old has a story arc.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's good, and that's what I think the 80s and the early 90s were great at doing that. Like, what I mean? They were great at making not just your typical kid story.
We had consistent morality then.
Yeah, well, like the kid, there was a way to, that we wanted to, and that's, you watch fucking Ruskies, about a group of kids that find a Russian, there's all kinds of stuff out there where you're like, these are great movies, and I show them to my kids. We just watched Radio Flyer this weekend. I don't know if you guys ever seen that. That's a Donner classic, and me and the kid were watching that, and they just looked at me with tears in their eyes, like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Yeah, these kids went through some shit."
Me too.
Movies like this, even when you look at it with a critical eye, kind of going off of what Nate mentioned earlier, it makes you realize that there's a strong possibility that we the four of us may have lived not only through peak Hollywood, but also through peak Western civilization.
I agree. I mean, like things were magical. You know what I mean? Things aren't magical anymore. That I hate to bring this movie up, but remember that movie that came out, Walk with Elephants, with Pattinson and Reese Witherspoon, or was that something like that, right? Something with elephants.
Yeah, Reese Witherspoon. Yeah.
And there's a scene in the movie where they're posting the posters up for the circus coming to town. You know what I mean? Like, and people were excited. Like they came from all over because the circus was coming to town, and it was a poster. You know what I mean? They wanted it. It was the anticipation, the wanting. You know what I mean of that. The same with Wentworth for us, like you were saying. It just, you know, there was no internet, so we didn't get to see the behind the scenes unless it was on Entertainment Tonight, or, you know, we saw that poster and our imaginations went wild. You know, so we're like, we got to go see this. Kids don't have that now. Like
they can. You just got to give it to them.
I mean, I try my hardest, but then, you know, sometimes we're just like, you know, my oldest, you know, he's fucking.
They're still gonna stumble across things that they like that come from their world or whatever. But yeah. I don't know. My kids, like my son, we'll go to the store. I'll buy him whatever clothes he wants to use or whatever. He wants to wear my old clothes. You know, and he's a sophomore now, so I'm just like, yeah, son, you can use my old clothes, like, you know. And his Spotify is full of like 95% music is from. It's actually older than most of the music I listen to. He likes new wave 80s music. You know, he'll listen to, he likes his share of rock and Metallica and even some hip hop or whatever, but his big shit is like fucking Tears for Fears. So
I always knew I liked Miles. I'm an 80s girl, so
yeah, no, you know, my kids are still trying to make me watch a damn Dragon Ball Z shit. So
yeah. I can't wait to be able to like sit down with. I know my brother's doing that with my nephew. I know that he's doing that a lot with my nephew, like putting him down and making him watch, like, you know, the Jurassic Park or watching Home Alone. Lucas loves Home Alone. He'll be 7 this year, and he loves it. He likes, and it's not. He doesn't just like the scene at the end of the movie. Like, he likes watching the stuff that builds up to it and the mischievousness that he gets into doing, you know, the sled down the front door and down the steps and outside the door, like little things like that. Lucas picks up on that, like, I'm a criminal. Like, for a while, I guess afterwards, Lucas was saying that he would like pretend to like take mom's like hairbrush or something and walk down the hallway. I'm a criminal. Like, things like that resonated with him, you know, even at a young age, understanding that. But like, it's fun hearing how John's doing that with Lucas, showing him all these like classic, you know, he started showing him the Star Wars movies, but like the original 3, and I think they're getting into a little bit of Transformers. John's trying to show him like the Transformers cartoons and the He-Man cartoons and things like that, the old school stuff.
Yeah, Miles toys in his room. He's got G.I. Joe's, Transformers, and Star Wars toys. Like, you know,
but Lucas will be quick to watch like reels on YouTube or like, you know what I mean. Lucas loves watching stuff like ridiculousness. So there's all that modern, like, instant, like, gratification type situation and weird little things, and, you know, into Minecraft and playing stuff. But like, he still, when you ask him, he'll still want to sit down and watch these, like, Home Alone. Like, right now, John's like, yeah, he wants to watch Home Alone all the time. Like, he asks for that stuff. The Charlie Brown Christmas. Like, he asks to watch those types of yeah. So.
Yeah, this goes in, like, those movies you just listed. Home Alone goes on that list, like, all day. Like, you know, it's just, yeah. It's a classic. It's something that we, you know, I think will be passed down from generation to generation. Even Elf, like, you know, Elf is one of those movies where it was like, that's more of a modern, like, Christmas classic. You know what I mean? Like, there hadn't been one since Home Alone. You know, Home Alone was the Christmas standard, and then Elf came out right afterwards. And not even afterwards, it was years later. You know what I mean? Yeah. Years and years later. But that's how long it takes sometimes to make a classic like that.
That's how you can tell what the spirit is too, because when's the last time somebody came out with a good Christmas song?
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't just somebody singing.
Blink 182.
Well,
Blink 182 that goes in my Christmas playlist all the time. I Won't Be Home for Christmas.
this is the thing is that you know we talked on the other show about the Guardians Christmas special, and when you compare that to Home Alone, it's gross.
Yeah,
it's gross. And it's not that there was anything offensive in Guardians. It just was so empty that you really have to have an appreciation for the movies that we received when we received them.
Yeah, like Christmas. I think Christmas movies are hard to do. Period. Like, you know, it's just if you're not into it, if you don't have the heart for it, then it's not gonna come out on film good. You know,
is that the running theme for the day?
Yeah.
If you don't have the heart for the project, if you're not about the project, be it Christmas or Star Wars or Marvel or whatever it is that floats your boat. If you're not about that, if you're just about telling your story, don't make your story be about Christmas. Make your story be about something else, because you're making our world a shittier place.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's get into the buckets. Fuzz, what do you got for us?
10 all day. Perfect.
I'm with because Fuzzy and I share the same brain. So I'm right there with the 10. I mean, it's got the pacing, the stories, the setups, the humor, is it giving an 8-year-old a story growth arc, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in a TV or in a movie full of adults, you know. And then you've got on the flip side the parents who are concerned yet are still parents at the beginning. They're just like, oh no, it's fine, we got them all, everything's cool. And then all of a sudden, oh my god, like my kid's gone. And you know, the struggle is still trying to get back to your kid. Like, you actually care about your kid. It's not one of those like, he can take care of himself, I'm just gonna go keep my vacation. You know what I mean? Like, and it's refreshing to see the family unit. That was the thing in this one. Even the extended family unit, but there's still the family unit. The mom, the dad, the siblings. Yeah, the sibling rivalry.
Nuclear family.
Yeah, exactly. And it was perfect. And like I said, the music, the dialogue, you know, even I think if I had one complaint, even though I love John Candy, it's like it just seemed kind of like funny to have him in there, but it makes sense considering it, you know, John Hughes wrote it and all that stuff. That just seems a little like out of place, but it still works for what it is. But yeah, it's a 10 all around. I love it. It's hard for me to give Christmas movies not 10s. Like, I feel Santa's gonna give me a lump of coal if I don't.
Jada Geek.
Look, first of all, this movie is definitely a Christmas classic. Anybody that would say otherwise is out of their mind. I don't mind watching it. I've watched it, like you mentioned. I've watched it dozens, if not hundreds of times. You could sit down and enjoy it. You're going to get good, clean entertainment with a good story. And it would pluck on heartstrings if I still had one of those. But
it means we gotta watch The Grinch.
But Home Alone,
2 sizes too small.
Home Alone, while it is technically perfect and it's executed well, it's not an epic movie, man. It's just not. It doesn't have the kind of scope and breadth and things that go beyond.
It's not Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, it's not a Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's not Lord of the Rings. It's just not in that category.
Empire Strikes Back.
Right. It's not in that. So I can't give it a 10. And because I personally detest movies with children in it, I'm going to have to give this one a strong 8.
F you, man.
I want to say that for not the reasons that Josh listed. I have my own set of reasons, but I want to list this as an 8 as well. And when I watched it with a critical eye, and that's what we're doing here, like, it was clunky. It was clunky, and some of those scenes could have been. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they couldn't have. I'll say this. I liked Home Alone 2 better because I did go down the sequel rabbit hole. And
I hated number 2. I hated that one.
Macaulay Culkin learned how to act.
Dude,
between 1 and 2.
He stumped everyone with a fucking tape recorder, dude. Like that was literally a plot fucking thing in that movie. Is that he has this thing where he can record his voice and slow it down, and people believe that's an adult. Like, what?
Keep the change.
Yeah. Like the filthy animal thing is great because that was cool. Like I could see that happening.
They did the same movie twice in a different place. That was just this. That was the other movie's MacGuffin.
Yeah.
I mean, one was a VCR, the other was a tape recorder. You know, it could have been a Zune if it had happened 12 years later or whatever. So yeah, I want. Maybe if I didn't watch it, and then I would have acted like I watched it and sat here, I would have gave it a 10.
Maybe you just had a bad experience this time watching it.
Okay, how long was I out for?
Couple seconds.
Okay. Yeah, 8. I'm with Josh. I wouldn't even say a strong 8, just a regular 8.
I think the heart in this movie, again, because I took it as a critical look at it, and I was like, the heart in this movie makes up for certain things. You know what I mean? Like it's just, it's a feel you get. You know, like movies can put something in you by a certain song, a certain look. If everything matches together, it plugs on you, it gets you in the emotions, and I think this one does that really, really well. Because some of the acting is not good.
If I hear the 20th Century Fox, dun, 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 it reminds me of Star Wars, and the hair on my arm stands up, especially because it's that Star Wars. Yeah. It's just like, oh. Oh man, to this day.
Well, and I mean, but that's what I think. Like with like the church scene, you got the Christmas song playing in the background. You got, the look of the whole church, and then as soon as he gets to the house, all of a sudden the music picks up, and it's freaking, the Looney Tunes. It's like, like it's you're getting ready to kick some ass. You know what I mean? And it's as weird as it is, it's violent as shit. You know what I mean? He doesn't get him. He shoots Pesci in the dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, this is it's like the kids' version of Jackass. Like, you know what I mean? But you're still you're like, yeah, this is good. It's wholesome. It's fun. Like
Stern took a BB gun to the forehead. Hello, bam.
I'd rather get shot in the forehead.
Right, guys.
Oh, that was a fun one, guys. All right, so next week we got Scrooged. Those of you who are watching, thanks for staying on board, and thanks for hanging out extra late tonight, guys. 11:41. Holy moly, it's been a marathon.
It's all right. I gotta watch my White Lotus before I go to bed. So that's what I'm.
What is that?
Right. It's that show on HBO I've been watching with my wife.
All right, love, peace.
Love, peace, and chicken grease, ladies and gentlemen.
Night.
Thanks, guys.